Hey, it's me, Renee. I'm back. And today I'm gonna do something I don't usually do. Um, yeah, I do book talks now and then. I often talk about books I love, or sometimes I talk about books that I did not get at all. So this book is a 3.5 stars for me. So it wasn't all the way to a 4 star, but it wasn't awful. I do still kind of want to talk about it, which is why I'm here. So yeah, this is me talking about not awful, not amazing. It was entertaining. I'm not gonna think about it for a long time, but it was entertaining, I would say. So, yeah, what book is it? You might be thinking. Sorry. It is Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. So this is actually my first Elle Kennedy book. I found it randomly a few weeks ago now, actually, in my library, and I thought, looks cute. Why not? Um, I heard about it also some months ago because it's already being adapted, even though this one came out this year. So yeah, sometimes things are picked up quick. One of the people behind Bridgerton is making this a TV series. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so now maybe you don't know what this book is all about. It's about Abby Bly. She's 19. She's from Tennessee, the US, and she goes to London for a year to be exchange student. Uh, the thing about one of the things about Abby is that her dad is a famous musician. So her dad is very overprotective of her. So she hasn't really gotten to do that much stuff herself. Well, her dad has a lot of stories. Though, you know what I'm gonna do with this book talk? I'm gonna digress now and then while I'm talking about the book. So yeah, my first gripe, yeah, I'm gonna say gripe, was with this point because she always talked about how her dad has had a big life and lots of stories, and she never has experienced things herself. And I'm like, yeah, your dad is overprotective, fine. So you haven't maybe done things that other people your age has done and whatnot. But he seems to be overprotective, but he's not a prisoner. He's not a prison guard. I mean, even if you lived most of your life in Tennessee, I feel like honestly, I feel like if you just say more yes, if you say yes to the world, you get lots of more experiences instead of thinking, I can't do that because that isn't right, that isn't proper, or that's not cool. If you say yes, if you just, for example, if you walk out the door and instead of taking the normal road to your university, you take the long road, or uh, you take first left, right, left, right. I mean, if you take a different road to your school, then you'll see different things. If you if you're in university, because you did 1 year of university in Tennessee before she went to London. If you're in university, if you one day sit one place in the cafeteria and next day sit someplace else, it's a small thing, yeah, but it makes difference. She just kind of talked about like how she couldn't do anything, she didn't experience anything because her dad was so I'm like, your dad's overprotective, yes, but you can still do things. I mean, we live in a year of a Lord 2024. You could, if you want to do, you could have gone online and teach yourself Arabian and then made some Arabian friends online. You could have, I mean, you can do lots of stuff online. Like even if you aren't allowed to do lots of stuff outside of the house because protective parents, you could still do lots of things online. So you can still learn all the same stuff. So yeah, honestly, that's also and also the first. I wouldn't gotten it if got answered it if this book was a YA. If it was like about a teen. Well, I suppose she's a teen at the beginning of the book because she's 19 at the beginning of the book. But she's a student. You're an adult. Why do you let your dad take so much over your life? It's weird. Honestly, it was a bit weird. So that kind of baffled me. Really baffled me. And also, so this is her second year in university. The first year, she lived at home while studying in her hometown, and like, if you're going to university, what if you want to try new stuff and learn new stuff and be your own person outside of your dad? Why do you go to university in your hometown? Isn't that kind of the easy thing to go to university somewhere else? I suppose you could also say like, yes, it's expensive or whatnot, but her dad is rich. Would her dad be so against her going to university in a town that's not her own, or at least going to live at the student housing she lives at her home? Honestly, it was weird for me. It was kind of weird. But yeah, let's move on from that. So in the very beginning of the book, the first chapter is her saying goodbye to her dad, and then her coming to London. And then she arrives in London, and she gets a taxi. She goes to where she's gotten housing. She's organized to live with the other students. And then she goes to the place where she's living. She's knocking on the door. And then the other side of the door is a young man. And she's like, oh, okay. I thought, okay. And then she kind of talks a bit about and like, oh yeah, you're the new student. You're a new housemate. And she's like, so you live here? Yeah, I'm Lee. And then turns out that she thought that she was gonna live with a woman, and then she just lives with three guys: Jackie, Lee, and Jamie. I suppose Jamie I have heard sometimes used on females, and Jackie could be Jacqueline, but Lee. How is that a girl woman name as well as a man name? For me, it's just kind of I just immediately think a man with that. Maybe if you Louisa, yeah, why would that be Lee? I don't know. It's just weird. But then also, yeah. So what happens is that I was like, oh my god, this is just guys. I can't be living with guys. And I'm just like immediately thinking like, why? Okay, so maybe you can think, yes, people are scary and guys are rapists and idiots and whatnot. But she did find them through a web page that does check people, that just check their credentials and whatnot. So it's not some randos. It's through a system. But anyway, she ends up living them with them. But I'm also like, but why would that be an issue? You're adults, of course. Yeah, it's the big, it's the very big. What's the word again? It's a very big. Words. It's the very big. Words. So annoying. But yeah, it's kind of a hint. It's a hint that, like, of course, she's gonna get together with one of the roommates because, haha, that's what's gonna happen. But you can kind of guess that. She doesn't get together with all of them, but yeah. But I'm like, why does it matter that you're gonna be living with three guys? You're all adults. It's true. Yes, you thought you were going to live with girls, but living with guys, you're all adults. It shouldn't be a issue. I suppose maybe because you come from Tennessee, so it's more so it's more conservative. But still, if you're all adults, why does it matter? I mean, if she was going to live with all women, females, it could also be some drama around there. So I don't know. It just kind of bothered me really. But yeah, and then from there on out, she goes to university. She finds one friend in university because the other people in her house her roommates aren't going to her university because London has a lot of universities. And also, here's another grab for me. This book, it's mainly about her and her love drama. She just she just a degree of of European history, and that's interesting and it can be very fun to read about. But she's very rarely in the university. It's very often her with one of the two guys who's interested in. Like, I want more of university story. Why is that just kind of ignored completely? Well, it's not ignored completely. Of course, she has the project she has to do. The project is just gonna like go deep into one story, like yeah, one subject. She ends up finding a picture at a estate sale. A picture of like, oh, that woman looks interesting. I'm gonna check out who she is and what's her story. So that's also kind of plotline for the whole book. And I'm just kind of thinking, this isn't that interesting. She turned out to be a maid and she was in love with two people as well. It's like, it's not that interesting. I just kind of felt it was, yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, so it kind of goes through with her life for the whole story, and the book is about her love life through 1 year, and yeah, I feel like sometimes it kind of feels a bit juvenile and silly, and like, why are you 19 and you behaving like this? But I suppose you're sheltered, so maybe that's how sheltered people do. I don't know. And also the end. Sorry, the back says, is she ready to break all the rules? Honestly, she doesn't really break that many rules. Why does the book kind of talk about like breaking the rules, breaking out herself? I mean, yes, it meets people, but she doesn't really break that many rules. So it's like, what? Yeah, she ends up lying to her dad about living with guys instead of girls. But I would say that's the one rule, really. So, why? The marketing for this is just kind of weird, I would say. And also, like, why is it called Girl Abroad? I mean, yeah, she's abroad. She's from the States. She lives in UK now, but couldn't it be Girl in London? Like, abroad to me kind of feel like she's gonna go to different places. She doesn't really. She just stays in London for most of the time. Uh, and then at times they have some spicy scenes which are nice, but I don't know. This book feels kind of between two chairs. I feel like it kind of feels like a YA book, but also feels a bit like a adult book because of the sex scenes. And yeah, I don't know. Suppose this makes me feel like I'm just nagging on the book so much. Like, didn't you say it was 3.5 stars? Yes. Okay. The thing is, this book it's predictable. Yes, but it's like you have interesting characters and you have. It's not awful to read this book. It's not. It's interesting enough to read. It's I suppose in a way, like a lot of, I would say 3.5 or like also 2 star books, it has potential, and you feel like it could be so much cooler, and like it has a cool cover, cool idea, and then the execution is not all that, but also, but also like in the end, yes, most of the time I read this, I was having a good time. I was enjoying myself. I would say though that if you're in high school or in college and you get a task that you have to read a non-fiction book, I would say check out this book because it's not that difficult book to read. It's not. I mean, I suppose maybe it looks big, but it's not weird words. It's not complicated plots. So it's a good place to start your reading your journey. I would say for me it was a bit like yeah. Maybe if I read this 15 years ago, I would love it. Now, it's not all that. But again, I did enjoy it. I didn't love it. Like, I suppose what I'm trying to say is that when the TV series comes out, if it happens, I might check it out. But right now, this is a book that exists and it's interesting. I have thoughts about it. I have, yeah, thoughts that I've talked to you about it. Um, but it's not a book I'm gonna be going around thinking that people have to read. It's I suppose it also like if people pick it up, I'm not saying you'll waste your time reading it. It's not awful, but it's I suppose in today's world where there's so many modern decent or so many very good books, this just kind of ends up for me at like good enough. Yeah, it's good enough really. I'll say that's it really. It's good enough. So yeah, I suppose also like if you want a palate cleanser between heavy books, if you want yeah, I suppose an interesting enough read, this is the book for you. Though, yeah. So, if you have read this book, give me your thoughts. I'm interested to hear what you're thinking about this book. And, bye.